Last week or the week before was Frost Week.
Yes, it was.
And it just ran from Monday to Friday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And how many events in total did the YFS put on?
Wow, there was a lot. We had 2 waffle breakfasts, we had 2 services fair days, we did 2 community food kitchens during the services fair, we had the movie night, dirty bingo night, we had ice skating, the rail jump, the tent with the hot chocolate, coffee, and shisha for 2 days. Unfortunately, our hockey challenge was canceled because of the weather. The organizers didn't feel comfortable with the rain and the ice and whatnot and ensuring people's safety. But later on, when the weather cleared up, we did manage to open up the rink for skating again. And we also had a lounge night and a laser quest event. The skating rink itself wasn't made of ice. It's made of plastic that has a solution on it. So that way, no matter what the weather, you could skate on it. The concern with the weather was for the hockey challenge because of the slipperiness of the snow and the ice on that plastic, ensuring people's safety. So that was the only event that was actually impeded by the weather. We managed to keep the tent going with the heaters in the tent. Once the weather cleared up by 1 o'clock, we were able to open up the rink for skating again, and all the rest of our events took place indoors. So for 99% of the events, everything went really well and smooth. It was just unfortunately one event didn't take place.
So who are some of the sponsors then?
Red Bull came out, and Rogers came out, and Note Solution were sponsors for this event.
That's good. There were projected numbers of, from what I gathered, 10 to 15,000 students in attendance. I just wondered, did you meet those sort of expectations, or?
I think we're pretty close. I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head. All of our events were packed. I know the Shisha tent on the first day alone ran, we had a counter on the first day, and at least 3,000-4,000 people came through circulating, getting hot chocolate, sitting, having Shisha. And even on the snowy day, we had quite a packed house in that space. People even came in there and started studying while enjoying their hot chocolate and whatnot out in the weather. So I don't have the exact numbers, but I know we came pretty close to that 10,000 mark with all our events being ram full every day.
Now those 10,000, are those people who are actually participating in the events, or people who are participating and spectators? Because it depends on who you ask, saying there was 10,000 people at the Occupy Toronto March, or there was 50,000 or however many that were there. It doesn't mean they were participating, it just means they were watching. So I'm just wondering...
No, we're looking at people who actually came in, used the tent, people who were on the ice using the rink, because the rentals keep track and whatnot. We're still waiting to hear back from the numbers. But I know they were having trouble at one point keeping up with managing that, and we were lucky some people actually brought their own skates. People that accessed the waffle breakfast, people that accessed the community food kitchen, people who actually stopped and talked at the tables for the services fair, because folks were giving away things and were able to keep track of how much they were giving away. So, and then of course for Dirty Bingo movie night and the laser quest, it was pretty easy to keep track of those numbers and whatnot. So these were people who were in our events doing stuff. I have no idea how many people actually just watch the skating rink, because it's interesting to watch, and the same with the rail jump. It's an interesting thing to watch. But people actually using it, we were trying to keep as best count as we could. Quite a large number of people in there using the space and then coming in and out, whatnot. And then I need to wait back for the second day of the tent, but I know the first day was around like 3,000-4,000 people just coming in, getting chocolate, either staying and sitting, or they would get the hot chocolate or tea. Quite a few people used the Shisha. That was a big hit for the week.
Actually, that's something I was interested in. I didn't visit the Shisha tent myself, but I definitely saw it, and I was wondering, because it is, smoking, did you have to get any special...
tobacco-free.
I know it's tobacco-free, but are there any special permissions that you need to have to set up? Because it's an enclosed area, so...
Because it's tobacco-free, because it's just molasses and herbs, there was no special permit because it's no carcinogens, no actual toxic substances being released out of there. It's literally like honey, tea, like whatever the herbs that they're using, and molasses. So that's why we were able to do it inside the tent.
Interesting. So, granted you couldn't foresee that the weather would be as warm as it was, but you did get a few good days in there. And also looking at sort of the turnout you got for some events versus others, and the success of certain things, what kind of changes will you do in the future to perhaps make it even better next year?
I think I think the biggest thing planned for next year for folks who are going to be coming back next year, or folks who are going to be in next year, the recommendation I would make is to actually look at each day and actually look at the pros and cons, seeing maybe it was successful, but was it worth doing it again? Or Maybe the sponsor wasn't great to work with, they might not contact them, or definitely we have to bring this sponsor back. I mean, when we move on, we do a transition binder and we make recommendations throughout the year. So whoever the VP Campus Life is next year should definitely take a look at the binder and see what worked, what didn't work, and what's worth bringing back, or maybe there might be some ideas that folks didn't get to do this year that they might want to try next year.